Welcome everyone, one and all, to my reaction to Season 3, Episode 3 of Young Royals. So, last time we ended on not the best note. We had a bit of a disagreement between Simon and Willa, but in my opinion, it was all explosive for no reason. They were having like a huge argument when it didn't need to happen. I think that there may have been some truth there in that Willa does need to be aware of the things he's saying sometimes. He needs to be aware of the people that he's speaking to and how it can come across. But then also I think that Simon needs to be aware of Willa's intentions. There was like not an ounce of intent from Willa to like just talk about his privilege and act like he doesn't know that he has it. It was simply him just trying to connect to his friend. And yeah, he didn't say the best thing considering their social backgrounds, but it's all about the intentions and trying to connect with people. So I don't think it needed to be a big argument. I think it needed to be a discussion, but I will leave it at that. We'll see how it goes this episode and see if they bring it up again. Now, in terms of like how the episode actually ended, we did get some news that the Queen is taking a break, which is very concerning, not only for her own health, but also for Willa's mental health, because that is going to be stressful, him thinking that perhaps he's going to have to be taking over a lot sooner than any of us were thinking, you know? So very concerning, but also very excited to see how everything plays out now that we've kind of got a timeline given to us, you know? But yes, with that said, let's jump back in to the world of Young Royals. I mean, my darling, evidently by just how you spoke, you're not fine. I don't think they are exaggerating it. Yeah, that'll be another stress on top of everything else, Jesus. Oh, Willa. I'm so sorry. Oh, that was painful. Right, we need to talk about that. Sorry to pause so early, but like that was such a big thing to not pause about, you know? But okay, so it does seem as though it's some kind of stress related, maybe inhibiting signs of depression and anxiety. Like there are so many things bundled on top of each other here based on what she's describing that, Jesus Christ, it sounds like she's going through a lot. And to be clear, I have so much sympathy and empathy for his mother. Don't get me wrong. I do think she's been a poor mother. I think that if we're talking about her, how do I say this? If we're talking about like the way that she has gone about things and the percentage of herself that she has given to things, it definitely feels as though she's done like a 60-40. It's like she's put 60% into being the queen and a boss to Willa, and then she's put 40% into being his mother. It's like the scales aren't where they should be, and that's where we've had a falling down of it feeling like she's been behaving like a poor mother. And so I think that that's where like my anger and annoyance with her comes from. But like, do not get me wrong. She is in an extremely stressful position. She lost her son. She's now dealing with a situation that isn't clear as day. Like, oh, I've lost my son, but at least we have this heir when it comes to like the stress of the crown. But we don't know if Willa's ever going to be ready. We don't know if Willa's ever going to get to that point. So I completely understand why she is so stressed and so anxious and everything. I do think that there has been some failings as a mother. I'm not going to write that over, but I have so much empathy for the fact that she is a human being who is struggling. So bless her heart. I hope she can get better. Obviously, I feel tremendously bad for Willa as well. The fact that he now has that, not just like societal pressure and like pressure of the crown to take over, but also as a son to a mother who is ill and wanting to take care of her, there is that pressure as well. And it just seems like everything is the same way that it's all tumbling on her. It's like that is continuing down the line and starting to tumble onto him. I honestly wouldn't wish this position on anyone. Like, yeah, they do have a privileged life. Don't get me wrong. They're evidently not going to be living in poverty, but that doesn't mean that they don't have to deal with the mental stress that they are under. Everyone knows he's a fave. How? You don't even know him. God, people are so fucking ridiculous.
Bagla att jag inte tänker komma in till ungdomsmottagningen varje vecka.
Kommer du aldrig lita på mig igen? Varför tror du att jag inte sa någonting till dig?
Interesting.
För att du hade inte kunnat hantera det. Att jag också kan fucka upp.
I will say, I know that her fears are fueled by real life circumstances given his father, her ex-husband, and his drug abuse and everything, but I do think that she needs to be a little less pushy with it with Simon. I think once you've done it once or twice, maybe the peak up just to like put your own mind at ease, then okay, leave it. Because if you push it too much, you are gonna lose that relationship with your son. and there's going to be even less trust.
Imorgon så är det dags, då ska det lämnas in.
August, spelar det verkligen någon roll?
Men det är väl bättre än att gå runt och klaga hela tiden.
Yeah, it's better than doing nothing, mate.
Då kommer skolinspektionen inte ha någonting att säga.
Jag får se. Som jag trodde. Varken Simon eller Wille har skrivit under.
I mean, obviously.
Lös det.
I don't think August could fix it. I don't think August could fix that. What? Okay. God, good luck, mate. But also, yeah, Willa can't even sign it because they've asked him to basically not even speak on it. Like, he can't put his name on a petition.
Om de ser med mig så kommer de säkert börja trakassera er också.
Oh, bless.
Fattar.
Vi ses.
Hejdå.
Oh, I was gonna say, why did he go with them? But it's because he can't take public transport. Bless his heart. Fucking hell. Wow, not bringing up his dad. You pieces of shit, honestly.
Jag måste bara fixa en grej innan jag lämnar in min telefon.
Jag pratade med mamma, hon mår fan inte bra. Jag vet inte vad jag ska göra heller.
Don't reply to it, Simon. It's not gonna do you any good, I promise.
Du lyssnar inte.
Men det är en massa folk som kommenterar på mitt senaste inlägg där jag sjunger.
Fan Simon, jag håller på att bryta ihop här över min mamma och du...
He's also having some struggles.
Du behöver liksom inte posta och läsa. Det blir ju som att du söker hatet.
De skriver som att de känner mig.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Det har liksom alltid varit så och kommer nog alltid vara så.
But he hasn't ever had to deal with that before. I think we're having a big misunderstanding between these two where Willa is not understanding that even though this is normality to him, even though this is something that he's accepted long ago, this is a whole new world to Simon. You can't just expect him to somehow be okay with it and somehow be ready to tackle the world. Like, of course he's going to be struggling. My issue with that isn't even with Willa, it's with the fucking palace. Like, with everything going on, why is the palace not fucking helping Simon and his mother understand this new world that they've just been thrown into? Like, come on now. It's as if they're doing it on purpose so that the relationship will break down and they won't be together. You know, it feels intentional. Because they must know more than anyone the difference between their life and, like, someone who isn't in the spotlight and all that. But yeah, obviously I understand that this was a vulnerable moment for Willa and he wanted to speak about his mother and everything, but Willa needs to also understand that these comments are deeply affecting Simon. It's making him feel so fucking shit about himself and his life and his family. I mean, just talking about his dad being an alcoholic in those comments, like, that is going to be so triggering to someone with his past. So I don't like the Willa is just dismissing it as these random comments and like Simon seeking hate. Like, come on now, don't treat him like that. Don't think that he is that person. You know him better than that. So even though Willa is hurting right now, I don't appreciate that he was kind of attacking Simon for being upset about people saying all that shit, you know? Like, it's not just comments. It's not just like needless little trolls on the internet. Like, it will hurt his feelings. He's not used to this. And to be fair, I was gonna say but I also think that Simon should have been like understanding that obviously something was on Willa's mind, but Simon did literally tell him as he walked into the school, I need to handle something before I hand my phone in, and we know that that's like a very like time constricted moment. So Willa should have noticed that this might not have been the best time to talk about it to wait for him to be done, you know? Like, normally I try and play devil's advocate and understand both sides, but I feel like I'm more on Simon's side with that situation because he came into this obviously already visibly upset and his feelings are just as valid as Willa's. So if he's coming in upset and feeling like he needs to handle something, he should be allowed to.
Det med din mamma, det kommer bli bra. Hon kommer må bättre. Det är ganska vanligt att bli utbränd.
Especially with the stress that she's been under.
Hon har liksom aldrig brutit ihop på det här sättet.
I mean, she's never lost a son before, so...
Allt jag vill ju bara få vara med dig.
Oh, fuck off! Oh my god, you're on school grounds, you wanker. But, yeah. I don't know. Wait a minute. Oh my god, I can't, guys. I can't stand people. He's not even enjoying singing. Like, come on now. That used to be his, like, outlet.
Men du, då tror jag, förstår du, att vi ska göra så här.
Are we having a solo session?
Vi koncentrerar oss på dig.
Good. Good, he needs it. He needs it.
Säga ett ord till honom utan att han tar det som någon sorts personlig attack.
Och hur känns det för dig då?
Ja, han har väl bara bestämt sig för att jag är ond.
I don't think you're evil. I think you did an evil act.
Nej, men jag fattar inte meningen med att ens försöka vara schysst om jag vet att jag aldrig kommer bli förlåten ändå.
Man kan faktiskt nå väldigt, väldigt bra genom att vara schysst.
Yeah, and you shouldn't base being nice to other people on getting something in return, i.e. forgiveness. You should base it on just being a nice person.
Men då måste vi ändå gå vidare på något sätt. Och om vi då börjar göra annorlunda val, mer osjälviska handlingar, så kan vi åtminstone komma dit hän att vi kan förlåta oss själv.
Very true. Oh, I love that. I think that's going to be something that I hope August internalizes and realizes. Yes, it can fucking suck that someone doesn't like you and someone sees you as evil, but at the end of the day, you did do something that made him have that reaction. You have caused him to see you that way. The only way that you can ever make up for it, not necessarily in his eyes, but in your own eyes, like the guy said, forgiving yourself, is to just be a good person from this point onwards. Don't base your reasoning for being a good person on that you're going to get his forgiveness in return. Base it on just being a good person and knowing within yourself that you have done your fucking best to try and make him forgive you. Doesn't mean he has to forgive you. There is no pressure on Willa to ever forgive August, because that is a personal thing that you must do yourself. And if you don't want to forgive someone, if you never want to get to that point, then that's perfectly okay. That's fine. But at least August can know within himself that he's done everything that he can. It's just based on everything that's happened. They might just never get to that point, and that is okay. That needs to be accepted. And don't get me wrong, I don't see August as evil. I don't see August as an irredeemable person who's just a piece of shit who can die in the ground and I won't care. That's not how I see him. There have been moments in time where he has really pissed me off and my emotions have like made me hate him. But like objectively speaking, and it's been a while for me since we've seen everything happen, since like season 1, season 2 in real time, getting past my feelings on the matter and actually thinking it through and sitting with it for a while, I don't see him as an evil person. I don't see him as someone who like I wouldn't want to see redeemed. It's just I think he needs to work on himself a lot. And if we're talking about relationships and his relationship with Willa and Simon, like we just said, I don't think that there ever needs to be a point where they have to forgive him. And the same with Sada. It's like I don't like the idea of him being with Sada, because even though she was a positive influence for him, I don't think he was a positive influence for her. I don't think that he was good for her to have in her life. So unless we see some fundamental changes and we actually see a new August pop up this season and actually work on so many of the things that have been causing other people pain, I don't want to even think about those two getting back together, simply for the reason that I don't think they're good for each other, like equally. So we'll see. I'm very much down to seeing a different side of August this season. I need to see the evidence that he's changed. This is where he lives. Jesus Christ. I don't know how I would deal with all of that. I'd have a fucking breakdown.
Pavellon, jag tänkte kanske vi sätter oss ner och pratar.
Aww.
Jag är
No.
inte hungrig.
Yeah. It's nothing towards you, my darling. I'm so proud of you for doing that, though. Well done for recognizing that you were being too harsh on him. I love his mum so much, but yeah, he just wasn't in the right headspace. Oh, for fuck's sake. Vincent is so annoying. Vincent is someone who I feel like is evil. I've never seen a good quality in him.
Missade Boris idag?
Åh, fuck, just det.
Oh, he didn't even realize. I thought that he just didn't want to go.
Hur mår hon? Är hon okej?
Hon mår jättebra.
Of course he's not going to say.
Kom egentligen bara för att fråga om underskrift. Till
Uh-oh.
inför skolinspektionens besök imorgon.
Varför är det så jävla viktigt för dig att tysta ner det här?
Hush this up. Interesting.
Det är klart som fan att du är inblandad. Det hade ju inte funnits några jävla problem på den här skolan om det inte vore för dig.
Intriguing.
Vad menar du med tysta ner? Det är ju lögner alltihop. Det är ju hittepå.
Det är
I mean, we
hittepå,
know
fick
that
du
it's
inte
not a
oroa dig
pack
för
of
Ja,
lies
fast
and it
du
wasn't
om
made
någon
up.
borde väl veta att rykten och skitsnack.
det. Vadå, är det, hotar ni mig?
Nej, jag försöker bara hjälpa dig här.
That was a very interesting conversation to watch take place, because even though, don't get me wrong, I will never get down on Willa for his feelings towards August. I will never say that he does not deserve to feel the way that he does and to behave the way he does towards August. He's allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants after what was done to him. But it's just a very interesting point to note that anything August does or says, Willa's mind shifts to be the worst possible outcome. Like, I genuinely don't think August was doing this to hush things up. I don't think that he was doing this petition to try and, like, make it so that these things come out. I think that his genuine thought process was, I like this school. We've put a lot of our time and effort into this school. Yeah, what we did was fucked up, but I don't think we deserve to lose the school. So I'm going to make this petition to try and keep the school around. I think that that is genuinely where August's head was going, but it's so interesting that Willa's mind immediately goes to August trying to hush things up, August being the reason that every bad thing happens at this school, which I also don't think is true. I think that August really fucked your life up, Willa. I think that he did some shit that was just, horrendous. But I feel like August was continuing a lot of the traditions the Hilershka had, and a lot of the, like, appalling stuff that people don't realize is appalling, like that gay porn video and everything. But it seems as though August and the other guy, who I'm gonna get his name up because I'm really bad at remembering, like, side character names. They never stick in my head. Nils, is that how you pronounce it? We'll go with Nils. August and Nils seem to be on the same page of, like, yes, even though August did say, which I was like, the gay porn thing was a joke, but they recognized that it was a problem and they fixed it. Whereas Vincent, I'm not gonna lie, Vincent this season is starting to, like, show his true colors to me, and it's starting to feel like Vincent might actually be the ringleader here and might actually be the big bad problem. Vincent seems to be someone who doesn't ever recognize the things that are wrong, and I have never ever heard a single positive thing come out of his mouth. I've never heard a single redeeming quality come out of his mouth. Even last episode, it was like a side comment. I remember it was something like they were walking away from the lockers and he said something like, she was an 8, but she was a bitch, so she's actually a 6, talking about, like, this girl's looks and how attractive she was. And I was just like, what? Like, how can you say that about a person? Just so casually in a hallway. Like, it's crazy. So I'm definitely not gonna ever brush off the things that August did that was wrong, and I think that he did severely fuck up. I don't think that he's evil, though. Vincent, I don't know. Vincent, I'm getting evil fucking vibes from.
Alltså, ni fattar ju själva att jag inte kan skriva under i egenskap av kronprins.
Yeah.
Jag ska inte ta ställning.
Okej, men det har du ju redan gjort.
In what way? He stood up for himself and his relationship. He hasn't made a stand.
Yo he estado tan confundida con todo esto que está pasando y quiero que sepas que yo confío en ti.
Oh, my darling, it's not your fault or anything.
Que no los puedo proteger a ustedes.
Det spelar ingen roll längre. Jag vill ändå inte vara där. Alla hatar mig och de som inte hatar mig gillar mig bara för att jag är min fille.
Oh, no.
No, perdóname, mi amor, perdóname.
Oh, my boy. That's horrendous. It's like there's nothing you can say to make him not feel that way. Like, there's nothing you can. It's just something that time's gonna hopefully heal as things ease out, but bless your fucking heart.
Idag är som ni alla vet en mycket viktig dag. Vi får besök från skolinspektionen.
Oh, it's today. I wonder why they were, like, cleaning up.
Hänger på den här utredningen. Felice, håret. De kommer att vara inne på lektionerna och inspektera hela verksamheten.
Nice. I'm glad that now that it's been pointing out, her friends are actually recognizing and seeing it.
Are you nervous?
Ja, eller alltså lite. Pappa kommer hit för att mamma, hon säger att jag inte får förhöras utan om föräldrar närvarande.
Men så gumman, du kommer vara så bra.
That's concerning though, because that's gonna, there is a lot of pressure on Felice right now. Like, all of her friends, all of the school, anyone who is talking to these inspectors is gonna have such, like, peer pressure on them because they're gonna wanna do their best so that everyone is happy with them and everyone is gonna get all of their stuff back, all of their freedoms, their phones. But I also just, a part of me just really hopes that Felice is honest and talks about the, like, problems that she has faced based on being a black woman in this school. Because it does seem like there are a few problems still going on here. So I hope that it is brought up. I won't judge her if she doesn't, because that is a lot of pressure to be under, but I will be so proud of her if she does talk to them about it.
Jag pratar med mamma. Jag har inte utegångsförbud längre.
Här inne har vi biblioteket.
Careful, don't have your fucking hallway makeout again. No, are they gonna walk in? Boys, not the time.
Här inne så har vi musikrummet. Och både
Oh my god, how much did they see? How much did they see?
Simon är med i skolans exceptionella skolkör.
God dag.
The headmistress looking back like, boys.
Vad har du för sommarplaner, Vincent?
Jag ska dra till LA.
And never talk to Vincent again.
Alla vet ju att första maj är en röd av en anledning.
Jävla
dumt alltså.
Ni vet väl att man inte är ledig bara för att ni ska få festa dagen innan?
I don't know what holiday they're talking about.
Arbetarrörelsens dag.
Okej, och vad är deras stil då? Eller hur firar de?
Man firar inte.
Sorry, I'm not actually familiar with this holiday, and I want to make sure I am before we continue, just so I understand like the significance of this. Oh, it's International Workers. I had no idea this was a thing, guys. I'm not gonna lie. This is not spoken about in the UK. That's so crazy. Because apparently we do observe it, like it is one of our bank holidays. I feel like in the UK, at least, no one ever talks about why we have bank holidays. People just know that it's a day off work. Like, that is literally all anyone talks about. We've literally got a bank holiday coming on Monday. Like, Monday this week, next week. And I have no idea what it's for. But everyone just says, oh, we've got a long weekend because it's a bank holiday. We have more time off. No one ever brings up why. That is crazy. I did not know this was a thing. Maybe it's one of those things where, like, it happens at the same time, but I've never, like, correlated in my brain that it's because, like, Labor Day is because of the bank holiday, but that's crazy. I thought it was some, like, bloody Swedish holiday and I wasn't recognizing it, but okay. My bad.
Man demonstrerar.
Don't laugh at him. What?
Ni har aldrig gjort det, antar jag.
Nej, Simon. Det är nog bara du som håller på med det där här inne.
Because all these people are in such privileged positions that they've never had to fight for a single right in their lives.
Vad tycker kungahuset om det?
Oh, fuck off! This is what I mean. Vincent's such a little bitch. But yeah, obviously I assume Simon's side of it is being from an immigrant family. So be very important to him. But yeah, for them to just laugh and dismiss it like that, go fuck yourselves.
Ja du, det var en av de rubbligaste åren i mitt liv.
Oh, I didn't know he studied here as well.
Kände du dig aldrig annorlunda?
Nice, I like that we're delving into this more.
Folk sa n-ordet som att det var det mest normala i hela världen då.
Wow.
Ja.
Men sa du aldrig något om det? Eller pratade med några lärare?
I think they were just as bad, my darling.
De var ju likadana.
Yeah.
Jag fick lära mig tidigt att...
Can't tell the people in charge when they're basically the exact same people. Just older.
Då hade de ingenting på mig. Det är att vinna.
That's fucking crazy. Play by the rules, play by their rules, fit in, try and be them basically, strip back all the things that make you you and just try and fit whatever they want you to be. That is fucking insane. I'm not surprised though. Like, you often find that in these higher classes, there has been less of a change when it comes to racism, homophobia, transphobia, because these are the people who it won't impact their lives. They don't care. They've never had to care. They've never faced a moment in their lives where they have not been in a privileged position and had everything handed to them. So why on earth would they care for other people and how they're treated? It's fucking insane. This is why it's so weird watching this show and watching all these people, because they have gone through such different walks of lives than I have, than many of us have, than probably the majority of people who watch this show, that it's hard to relate to whatever they're talking about. I feel like for Willa, it's easy for us to relate to him only because we've seen like, he's a main character. The camera has been focused on him. We've seen the struggles that he's been going through as a human being. But even on top of that, we know that he is also a good person underneath. Whereas some of these people, some of the things they say and do, it really does make me wonder whether they are good people. It really does teeter along the line of, you are a awful human being and you need to work on it. But moving on from that though, I love that they are having this conversation. I really, really, really hope that Felice feels comfortable enough to bring this stuff up to the investigators, but I guess we'll see. I mean, her dad doesn't really seem open to talking about it himself. It seems like he conformed to what they wanted and he kind of like accepts that. I mean, he said that it was some of the best years of his life, even though he was being treated so poorly. So I feel like he's kind of been conditioned to see it as a positive thing and ignore the negatives, which sucks.
Lisa är en krona. Välkomna.
Felice pappa.
Hej.
Det är lugnt pappa, jag klarar mig själv.
Oh, I hope that means that she's honest. Oh, please, my darling.
Jag vill börja med att säga att det här är helt konfidentiellt.
Please.
Ditt namn kommer inte att förekomma i rapporten, så du kan vara helt ärlig.
There is a slight issue with that. It might be confidential and all of that, but if she's the only person of color who has been interviewed and she talks about race issues, they're gonna know it's her. So I hope that's not the case.
Jag skulle bara vilja räcka över denna. En namninsamling från eleverna här som har skrivit under att vi verkligen älskar vår skola.
Good job. I feel like the headmistress is gonna be happy with that.
Vilket fint initiativ.
Of course.
Rektorn, kommer vi få fira valborg? Eller hur blir det med det?
Not to be rude, but his hairstyle always makes me feel very uncomfortable. Something about it.
Felice, förresten, vad sa de för något? Frågar de om invigningen?
I don't know if her friends will understand if she's honest, if she did say the stuff about like the race issues and that.
Jag försökte bara säga så lite som möjligt egentligen.
Ja, men du sa väl inte att vi har dem? Alltså, de kommer inte fatta grejen liksom.
So you say that they don't understand, meaning that you know that it's wrong. You know that it's a problem, but okay.
Hörni, det blir valborg.
Vem har sagt det?
Rektorn!
Skämtar du?
Ingen alkohol, men det kommer bli svinfett, okej? Tagga nu, kom igen.
No. Leave her alone, please.
Det här är den viktigaste kunskapen när man kör bil. Sjunga och köra samtidigt.
I love this.
Är du med?
Oh, she's smiling. Let's go.
I'm not the same, not forever.
Forever. Honestly, I love all Scandinavian accents. It's so cute. Oh, for goodness sake. Is she gonna talk to him or is she gonna say no?
August Horn av Ånäs. Jag är en vän till Sara.
Micke av Eriksson. Saras pappa.
Coming and using his fucking title.
Men jag hade ju hellre haft en pappa med dåliga perioder än ingen alls.
That's very fair, to be honest.
Jag var så arg på dig.
Against the police.
Polisen. Och jag fattar, jag förtjänar det.
Okay.
Jag förtjänar det.
Well, he recognizes that. That's a very good first step.
Du är den enda jag någonsin har kunnat prata med. Du är den enda som någonsin har kunnat förstå mig. Och jag har saknat dig. Saknat dig så jävla mycket att det gör ont.
I get that, but she's allowed to not want to see you.
Kom tillbaka till skolan i alla fall. Jag vill inte vara anledningen till att du inte kommer tillbaka.
I like that. I do like that, because I agree.
Hej då, August.
That was a tough one because like a lot of the stuff I agreed with, I don't agree with him. I understand what he's saying in the she was a good influence on him. She did make him feel like a better person. And I understand that losing that is very, very painful. And it's something that is so hard to go through. But you have to recognize that that doesn't mean that just because it's so painful for you, she was so good for you. That doesn't mean that you were good for her. It doesn't mean that she wants you back in her life, even though you want her so badly. She's allowed to live her life without you if she thinks that it won't be good for her to have you around, you know? And I think that she does recognize that. She understands that. It's hard because, like, yeah, she would be a positive influence on him. And I'm sitting here wanting him to become a better person. So I'm like, okay, that would be good. But then the other side of me that cares for her is like, well, yeah, but it's not all about him. It's not all about what's good for August. So it's good for Sada as well. And being with August is not good for Sada. Not only in the sense of like her own personal self, but with everything that they've been through. Simon, his mum, like they will not tolerate August being in Sada's life, and it will cause issues for Sada just being with him. So I just don't think it's good for her at this point. Maybe in the future if we see some big changes, but definitely not right now. I'm praying to the gods that we can see Sada and Felice's friendship come back this season. Like, please. It's all I want for them. Like, that's all I want. Oh, mate. At this point, it might just be good to uninstall the app. I know that like feels like running away from it, but like it's not doing you any good seeing them.
Jag sa att det var omöjligt.
Why is it impossible?
Allt blev fel. Jag gjorde fel.
You did, but it's hard, but it's not impossible for you to go back. It's such a good opportunity to lose out on.
Göra fel, det är ju jag lite av en expert på.
Oh, I didn't really think of it in that way.
Ångesten som kommer efteråt.
The guilt,
Värsta
the
känslan
shame.
i världen. Du vet, jag gick också runt med sån jävla skuld och skam.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Fast det var ju jag och Simon som inte ville träffa dig. Eller, jag ville inte träffa dig.
Klart som fan att du inte ville det, men jag borde ha kämpat för er.
Nice. Oh my god, he actually recognizes that. I love that.
Tog jag inte ADHD-medicinen, då mådde jag skit och ingenting funkade. Sen när jag tog den, då trodde jag att jag var som alla andra och kunde ta ett glas med polarna. Utan att jag fattade vad som hände så hade jag tryckt i mig 30 öl och kom inte hem på hela helgen.
Jesus Christ.
Och jag fixade inte att ta eran besvikelse.
So because of those bad feelings, you'd see the good feelings and it would start the spiral all over.
Tror du att det kommer bli så för mig?
Oh my darling.
Alltså du kanske fick mina diagnoser, Sara. Men du är inte jag.
Oh, I didn't think of it like that.
Det där skulden och skammen. Jag tror att du och jag känner den där känslan mer än andra. Du får inte låta den där känslan styra ditt liv.
Hell yeah. Yes. Oh, I love that. Oh my god. What a fucking scene. Sorry guys, I feel really stupid right now. I think what it was, I'm currently seeking out getting a diagnosis for ADHD, but I'm like 99.99999% sure I have it. Like it's all but confirmed in my own mind just based on symptoms and everything. And I'm currently seeking getting a diagnosis myself. I don't think that I ever questioned having it way back when we were like in season 1. And I think that is why I haven't made the connection of his ADHD before, because I didn't really know much about it back then, because I couldn't even recognize it within myself. And so in like self-discovery and all of that, hearing again that he has ADHD, that has kind of like reframed my entire thought process around that man. Like, you know when you feel like, you know when you're looking at a character or you're looking at a person in real life and you think to yourself, there is a significant piece to the puzzle that I'm missing that is not letting me understand this person. Like, I'm usually good at reading people, but there is something that is missing that I'm struggling to get a hold of that is like not letting me understand your thought processes. But now I've just felt like I've just been given the key, like the piece to the puzzle, because now it makes so much more sense. I mean, all of the addiction problems, all of the problems of the shame spirals and you doing something, you feeling horrible about it, but then because you're feeling horrible about it, you then want to seek out those good feelings, and because you then look for those good feelings, you do something that you then regret and feel guilty about, and then you go back again. It's just a constant loop, a constant spiral. Oh my god, I feel like I've just... It's so mind-fucky to like have this character that I've had so many like thoughts about, but now all of that gets like washed away because I understand now. And don't get me wrong, that's not to say that there is absolutely no issue with this, like the behavior that this man has exhibited, like all of the things that he's done to his children and his ex-wife and everything. Like, he did fuck up and he's done so many things wrong. But what I mean is more so that I've always struggled to understand the whys. I've not been able to relate to him in that way. And now I can, and it just makes so much more sense who he is as a person. Because it is true, like, oh my god, I have to keep myself away from anything that is like gambling related, because I recognize that my brain looks for those highs, it looks for those good things, and that is a problem. I've never gone near gambling itself because I've kept myself away, but you know how it is with like a lot of games in the past, not so much nowadays, they've kind of steered away from it, but a lot of games in the past would have like loot crate systems, and it would be an idea of like buying a bunch of loot crates and you would get random loot from them of like a different rarity, and like the more you open, obviously the more chance you're gonna get at getting a good thing. It's literally gambling. It was gambling with like a fucking cover over it, and I used to have some severe problems with that, and I had to like literally get myself away from those games because of those addiction problems, and because of those problems of your brain seeking that dopamine rush, seeking that good feeling, and not being able, well, it's hard to describe to people, because when you say not being able to stop yourself, it kind of takes away all the blame in the matter, when there is a certain level of being able to control yourself and recognizing the issues. Like, maybe you can't control yourself in the moment, but if you control yourself in the sense of separating yourself from that environment, from that scene, that is a way of controlling it and stopping it from happening. And so I think that there were definitely moments there where their dad could have gotten himself out of this spiral, but he just didn't put the effort into making those changes, and so it let the spiral itself continue, and that is definitely where he fucked up. And like a huge major part of ADHD is rejection sensitivity disorder. It comes in so many shapes and forms. The main thing, like the base thing being that you cannot handle rejection, you cannot handle people having these bad thoughts about you. It often exhibits a lot of people-pleasing tendencies, which is hard. But that is exactly what he was describing there, the idea of like, because his children had such poor opinions of him, because they didn't want to see him, that would have made him feel so shit about himself and thinking that he was a horrible person, that not only would that have allowed him to then continue the spirals, but also to distance himself from his kids, thinking that it was a benefit for them. That is not to say that was still not his problem. He needs to work on himself to a point where he has these coping mechanisms to help himself through that, and has these coping mechanisms to help himself not get to the point of that hitting him as hard as it did. So I'm glad that he recognizes that he was still a problem in that. I'm just trying to explain like the thought process behind it and why it happened that way. Because I know that ADHD is one of the most misunderstood things in the world. People hear that it's like a hyperactivity disorder, an attention disorder, and they just think, oh, you can't pay attention to things and you're jittery. That is like, for some people, those things are true, but that is like 1% of what it can do to you, how it affects you, how it affects your day-to-day life. So I really implore people to look into it, because it can be very helpful for understanding large group of people who obviously struggle in the world and with the way that the world runs. But yeah, absolutely adored that scene. I think that that is a fantastic scene, not only as a father-daughter moment of bonding and sharing experiences to try and help her through life, but also just seeing Sada have these deep-rooted feelings of, what if I'm like my father? What if I turn out that way? What if I fuck up to the degree that he did? That is so sad to hear, but also so amazing that she now has her father in her life to tell her why she is not that way and why she is much better in so many ways than he was back in the day, you know? It seems like he's making some fundamental changes, which is really nice to see. But yeah, great scene. Loved it. Didn't realize I needed it, but my God, that was beautiful. Also, sorry for rambling so much. Oh my God, I just processed that she's here, okay? Let's go.
Klarar du vad som helst. Du kan ringa mig när du vill, så kommer jag hämta dig.
Hell yeah.
Fy fan Simon, det där var hemskt alltså.
What, the choir?
Jag det skulle vara så vidrigt att sjunga framför honom.
Oh, bless you. I forgot this was his first like actual time.
Du kan stå där och känna saker och vara öppen och sårbar.
It's his passion, it's his way of expressing himself.
Det har ju blivit svårare att typ vara avslappnad i det.
No.
För det känns inte lika kul.
No. Oh my God, the way that the world is like even hitting the stuff that he loves so much. Go fuck yourselves.
När var din buss gick?
10:09.
Jag bara tänkte, alla är här ute nu.
Uh-huh. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm so proud of you. Well done, my darling. Yeah, I get it. I get it. It's not gonna be easy, my darling. You've got this. I promise.
Hej, du har kommit till Micke. Jag kan inte prata just nu, men...
No, I think it's just because he's driving. It looked like an old car. I don't think it has a system to like call.
Jag har saknat dig.
Oh, let's go. At least she's got someone to talk to. Bless. But okay, couple of things to note from that scene, because it was like there wasn't any words, but a lot was said. You know, I think looking over at Felice and her friends, Felice's friends were never really like the good friends of Sada. It was just like friends of a friend, you know, but they did hang out. I think that Felice was Sada's only like real true friend, but it was a very deep bond. And I do really fucking hope that they can get there. Obviously, Felice's friends are probably going to be quite against it, which to be honest, I feel like a lot of us would. Like if you're in a friendship group and one of your friends has been hurt by someone else, it's hard to get to a point of like you yourself forgiving that person when you care for your friends so deeply, you know? So I do get her friends being weary of Sada and not wanting Felice to like start a relationship up with her again, but I hope that Felice recognizes that it's something that she wants, if she does want it. She might not, but I hope that if she does, she recognizes that and pushes past those feelings and thinks, fuck it, like, I want her back in my life. I'm going to get her back in my life. So fingers crossed they can rebuild their friendship. It's like the main thing that I want for both of them this season, but I guess we will see. Now, when it comes to Willa and Simon, obviously, I understand that he was like on a high right then. It was like such a good feeling being like, oh my God, me and Willa are finally going to get some alone time. We have been like not being able to have that for so long, for like an extended period of time, has sucked. So of course, seeing his sister and having like those negative feelings pop up, I understand why he then didn't want to speak to her in that moment and went inside. Obviously, in a perfect world, I would think that, okay, they're siblings, they can get through this. He should recognize that this is a hard moment for her and go and talk to her. But I get that it was a moment where he was finally about to like have a happy time after feeling shit for like days on end. The idea of his sister showing up and like having to have that conversation, no, he wanted to spend time with his boyfriend. So I do get it. Oh my God, in the hallway? Boys? Again, I do feel a bit like a creep, but I'm happy that they are having this moment. Can we move on, please? Oh no. Please don't tell me he's drank. Is it anything or is it just normal? Oh. Uh-oh.
Förlåt, jag somnade.
Har du druckit?
Ja, nej, fan, jag slocknade bara, jag var helt slut. Hur gick det?
Skit, men jag överlevde.
She's very hurt because obviously he fell asleep and didn't keep to his promise. It does seem like he's in a better place. Obviously, that was a bit of a fuck up. If you say to your child, call me whenever you need me and I will be there, and then you fall asleep and you're not there. Like, of course, that is messed up, and hopefully he realizes that he needs to work on actually being there for her. But at least it does seem like when it comes to like the drug abuse and the substance abuse, it does seem as though he's in a better place. So hopefully that continues and Simon himself can build a relationship with his father as well. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be like the best relationship in the world, but it can be something if it's what they want in their lives, if they think it will be positive for them. So hopefully.
Jag känner mig typ nollställd.
Hon anmälde honom ändå.
Ja, men alltså, hur kan man ha samma uppväxt och ha samma gener och ändå vara så olika? Och ha liksom helt olika perspektiv på saker.
But I don't know if you do have the exact same childhood and experiences. I don't know. The way I see it is that just her being neurodivergent in the first place, because we know in season 1 we were talking about it, wasn't it? She was diagnosed with Asperger's, but it's not really a term that's used anymore, so it kind of just falls under the autism umbrella, and a lot of the time autism and ADHD go hand in hand, and I think that's where her dad was coming from when he was saying about, you may have inherited my diagnosis. I think that with Sada, it was just one of those things where she was so caught up in the good feeling, the benefits of the relationship with August and how amazing it felt for her, that she didn't realize the sheer amount of pain that it was causing her brother, the sheer amount of pain that it was causing everyone around her. And when she did realize that and it finally hit her and she was like, oh my God, she tried to fix it. She went to the police. She tried to fix her wrongs. Now, that's not to say she didn't fuck up. She fucked up. But my point is that she recognized that she fucked up eventually. She got to that point, and are we really at a point where two siblings who have loved each other so much in the past can't forgive each other? I don't think so. I think that what has been done has been bad, but I think that at the very least, they need to have a conversation. They need to sit down and just fucking talk. And Simon needs to get these questions that he has in his head out there. He needs to think to himself, like, what is it that is actually upsetting me the most with Sada? And then just bring it up. Talk to her about it. Have her explain her side and try and understand where she was coming from. Because the comments about, like, how can two people have the exact same childhood and all of that, it's not the same. Like, she is neurodivergent. The whole point of that is the way you approach the world, the way that you interact with the world is different from a neurotypical person. That's the whole point of it. That's why the idea of getting diagnosed and actually like having this label that you can assign to yourself is so important to so many people, because it's such a fundamental way that something affects your life. It affects every aspect of every day of your life. And that's why it's so important to so many people that it is recognized and talked about. And so that's where I'm coming from in the sense that she does think differently to him, and it's something that we do need to recognize and focus on. And I think the reason that, because I've had people ask before why I am so lenient with Sada, I think it is because I recognize quite a few parts of myself within her. I think that that is genuinely where it comes from, and that's why I'm a lot more lenient. But never think that I don't think that what she did was wrong. What she did was wrong. I just understand where she was coming from, and that's why I'm a lot more open to forgiving her than it seems as though Simon is at this time, but then also he was personally hurt by her, which is a very different scenario than someone who is on the outside. So I don't blame him for being upset. I understand where he's coming from. They're siblings. They love each other so much, and they've had such a good relationship over these years that they need to sit down and talk and try and get through this.
Erik hade aldrig kunnat göra så mot mig. Det var liksom han som skyddade mig och tog hand om mig.
Det känns bara som att jag alltid funnits där för henne och gjort allt för henne. Och om hon kan göra något sånt här mot mig, då kan vem som helst göra det.
Oh, so it's a lot more deep-rooted than that. Okay, it's playing on his trust issues. I get that then. That's why it would have affected him a lot deeper than I was expecting. Okay.
Vi tar 2 stycken, tack. Jag måste bara säga, alltså, du är ju lite av en idol hemma hos oss. Det du och kronprinsen gör, vi tycker ni är jättemodiga.
Vad kul.
Skulle du vilja ta en bild med oss?
Oh, he's got his little badge. Stop!
Okej, cheese. Sådär då.
Tack.
Hej då.
Ha det bra.
Hej då, tack.
That was so fucking beautiful. Oh my god. What does it say? Only love. Oh, guys.
Han var jättefin ju. Och du sålde 2 lotter.
That's what we focus on. Oh, that was so cute. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Young Royals, for including that, because that was beautiful.
Och den ska börja nu. Ja,
Biltimmet. Lugn, mina herrar. En i taget.
Oh, I just realized there might be a problem with the crown if he shared that. Because it's taking a stance May 1st and all that.
Nej, du skämtar.
Yep, fucking know it. It's about the bloody post, isn't it?
Jag visste att Simon var sosse, men inte att han var så aktiv i kampen.
Oh no.
Gratis soja.
Oh, there's signs in the back as well. Shit. What does it say? Crush the upper class. Oh my god, that's the worst sign that could have been in the background, considering his position.
Det har redan blivit rubriker om bilden han postade.
Shit.
Med tanke på drottningens hälsa behöver du ta mer ansvar nu. Prata med honom. Annars kommer vi göra det.
Ja, jag ringer honom direkt.
Or else we will. But like, why are you not talking to him in the first place? I'm so confused. I don't get it. Why is it on Willa? Why is that not the first thing?
Alltså, jag kan inte fatta att vi har små fans i Bjärsta.
No.
Det känns som att vi på riktigt skulle kunna förändra någonting.
No!
Du måste ändå förstå att vi inte kan du kan inte lägga ut vad som helst.
What? Is there something at his house? Oh my god, his mum. Is his mum okay? Please fucking tell me his mum's okay. I'll lose my shit if his mum's not okay. Was it just a rock that was thrown? Okay, oh my god. I know that, obviously I'm not diminishing that it was a rock, but if people actually broke in and beat his mother up, you know, that would be fucking horrible. Oh my god, my heart. Oh, I was terrified, guys. Oh my god, when he like slow-mo walked towards it, I was like, do not tell me that someone has fucking like beat his mum up, because I will go up in arms. I will fight that bitch myself. So yes, there we have episode 3 of Young Royals, and we had some great scenes that I didn't realize I needed. This season keeps surprising me when it comes to like themes and topics that I wasn't expecting them to talk about, that they start talking about and I'm like, holy fuck. Why did I not want this before, you know? I think the 2 big ones for me is 1, the race issues that obviously Felice is going through, and 2, the relationship of Sada and her father. Now, obviously, it was tainted a little bit by the fact that he fell asleep on the sofa and wasn't available to pick her up after saying, call me and I'll be there when you need me. Because if you're going to make a promise like that, you have to keep it. You can't just say it and then go and fall asleep on the sofa. I get that he might have been exhausted, but if he made that promise, that's a promise to your child. And if you're trying to repair a relationship with your child, you got to be fucking on it and make sure that you keep to it. So that was a bit of a failing, but in every other way that we saw this episode, he was doing a great job of being there for her. He was supporting her in her own struggles when it comes to her getting down on herself and thinking that she might fall into the same traps that he has in his past and in his life, and that she doesn't want to be like him. She doesn't want to have those same failings, and that is understandable. Like, yeah, it's probably a horrible thing to hear, but like, he recognizes that he fucked up. He knows what he did that was wrong. So her bringing that up, I don't think is bad. Like, if he felt bad about that, then he needs to take a long hard look in the mirror because he did fuck up, and she has every right to be feel that way. So I'm glad that he also recognizes that. That was a showing in and of itself that I was like, huh, maybe he has changed. Like, the first step to changing is recognizing the problem, and he very clearly recognizes all of the problems that he did and all of the issues that he caused. So now that we know that he is clean at the moment and he's on a good path, I hope and fucking pray that continues and we actually get to see their relationship blossom even more. But yeah, he did fuck up a little bit by not being free today, especially when she said that it was a shit situation, but she did get through it, and I'm really fucking proud of her. So yeah, one of the big ones was their relationship. Didn't know I needed it, but I love that we got it. Now, the second one, obviously the race issues with Felice. I think the reason that I wasn't expecting it is that, has it ever been brought up before, season 1 and 2? I don't think Felice has mentioned it before, but that might just be me forgetting because it's been a while since I've seen both of them. I think that it's such an important thing to bring up, especially when it comes to being in a high-class society and being in a position that is full of these people who don't realize when they're doing things wrong. I mean, it was very clear. It wasn't related to the race stuff and all that, but it was very clear when one of her friends, who I'm gonna have to look up their names again. Why am I so bad? Stella. When Stella said, well, you didn't tell them about any of the stuff because like they wouldn't understand. It's that kind of thing. It's like, if you recognize that they wouldn't understand it, you're recognizing that it's wrong. You're recognizing that it's something that shouldn't be treated as the way that you had. Shouldn't be like some la-di-da, oh, it doesn't matter because it was fun, it was a good time. Like, no, you recognize that it was wrong because you know that they wouldn't understand. So come on now. So it's stuff like that. It's like people in this class, people in this way of life, they never have to deal with the consequences of their actions when it comes to being shitty people because they've had their life handed to them and they've always got a backup. So they don't have to be these uber nice people. They don't have to understand the words that they say can hurt people. And I think that actually recognizing that, and I do hope and pray that Felice did actually talk to the inspectors about it, because we didn't get a clear-cut showing of her being honest, but I think that what we're going to see is like that report's going to come out and it's going to be like mentioning perhaps race issues, and that's when we know, okay, Felice did talk about it. At least I hope. I won't get down on her if she didn't do it. Like, I do understand the like pressure of like everyone in the school being after you, and then if she was the only person of color who did get interviewed, then if she talks about race issues, they're going to know, no matter how anonymous they make it, that Felice is the one who said it. So I would understand if she like couldn't bring herself to talk about it, but I fucking hope and pray that she did. But yeah, so the rest of the episode, obviously the ending there was really sad for two reasons. One, I hate that Willa has to keep being the one that is communicating to Simon that he's not allowed to post this kind of stuff. Like, the palace needs to talk to them. Why have they not got any kind of media training? It makes no fucking sense. Bloody actors and all that get media training because you have to know what you're saying and doing when it comes to the media, because so many things can be twisted and turned against you. And so it just fucking sucks that they're not giving him a single bloody bit of help. It's so annoying. So her at the end being like, you need to talk to him or we will. I'm like, please talk to him, Palace. Please give him some fucking resources that are gonna help. Like, you've done nothing for him so far and it's getting ridiculous. But obviously the actual end, the stone being thrown through the window, I'm not surprised. My God, based on all the hate that he's been getting, I'm actually surprised that we haven't seen something like this earlier. I think that they need protection. They need some kind of security system. They need a place to stay. Like, this is not okay. They can't deal with this. With their income, they can't afford a place that is, like, more protected. So the palace needs to do something to protect them. Like, I'm just saying it. They need to fucking do more. But yeah, in terms of the rest of the episode, I believe I've covered most of the things I wanted to talk about in the episode. So let's have a look at some Patreon questions, because I did see that there were quite a few. Now, I'm not gonna be able to answer all of them, because when I checked if we had some earlier, it looked like there was like a lot of text there, which I'm assuming means a lot of questions. So I'm probably not gonna be able to answer all of them, but I will definitely make sure I've covered all of the topics. Right, first up, do you think it's surprising the Queen and Wilhelm have the mental health struggles they do, given that the palace seems to offer so little support to the monarchy? I never really thought about it in terms of like offering support to the monarchy. Because it is true, isn't it? They don't exactly have like mental health advisors. They don't exactly have people who are around to help them when they're having these struggles. I think that's definitely one of those things where, because it's such an old institution and it's something of the past, like these things weren't talked about in like general society for decades, centuries, until we got to modern day. And even now, people of older generations, the idea of going to therapy is like seen as a weakness, seen as something that you can't do because it's showing that you can't handle it yourself and you're so weak for going. But like that's not the case. That should never be the case. But the fact that it's even like that in like common society, when you look at these areas, like being in a fucking monarchy, the whole point of them is upholding traditions from time long gone. Of course, they're not going to have help when it comes to like therapy and mental health issues. So it is crazy when you think about the fact that they have not been given any support. And then the second part of this question was that he and the Queen never even grieved Eric's death. How can they expect Wilhelm to take over the crown, have him and Simon navigate a very public relationship with no support as well? Yeah, exactly. Like, they are just not supporting them in any way. They haven't supported them when it comes to the death, and they haven't supported them when it comes to the relationship. It just seems like they're just failing in every fucking way. We need like a complete disregard of the like hierarchy that's going on within the royal family, and just like completely gut it and figure out a system that's actually going to work, because evidently it is not doing anyone good right now. Next up, what do you think about the way the royal court treats Willa compared to the Queen? He has been having the same symptoms at 16 years old as the Queen now does, and yet he has never offered support or comfort from anyone, not even his parents. They've only ever put pressure on his shoulders, even when he asks for help and expresses his feelings. That is very true. That is very true. I mean, based on the reactions that we've got from the Queen with her own issues, it seems as though the Queen herself has not changed even when it comes to herself, because she said nothing's wrong with me, they're overreacting. It's more so like she's been forced to take this break. She wouldn't have taken this break if they didn't make her. So I definitely think when it comes to his family helping him, there hasn't been any changes in that regard, so I'm not surprised. But when it comes to the palace, it's like, I get on a like pure, how do I word this? It's like, I get that she's the Queen, and that like your focus would be on the current like reigning monarch, and that's like why you would be so concerned about her mental health. But like, why would you not be concerned about the 16-year-old who's meant to take over from her? Like, are you just gonna let his mental health get in the shit, and then he's gonna become king, and then they'll be like, wait, you have anxiety problems? They've been deep rooted and caused so many issues to the point where like you're really struggling. Oh, let's try and help now. Like, it's stupid. You need to support him, one, because he's fucking 16 years old, and no one should have this kind of pressure and these kind of problems that he is having at 16. And then also the fact that he is the bloody heir. Come on now, you need to make sure that he's going to be good. All this talk about like, oh, you need to make sure you're ready to take over the crown. You need to make sure that you prepare him so that he's ready. And ignoring his mental health is not preparing him. It's bloody ridiculous, isn't it? Now, moving on next up. Do you think it's possible for Willa and Simon to have a healthy relationship as long as Willa is the crown prince? Simon is losing parts of himself because of how the royal court is restricting him, and Willa has so much on his shoulders that he can't be a good boyfriend to Simon. Is there a way for them to work, or is the monarchy just suffocating them both? It's a tough one. I think that the monarchy is definitely suffocating them both. I think it's restricting their relationship on so many fundamental levels that I'm surprised they're still going at this point. I'm surprised that they have not had a complete breakdown. And I think that what that is when we look at the moment where they shared this episode where they were together in his bedroom, there was so much love and so much joy on their faces and just like exuding from them, you know, that you could tell that they do truly love each other. And that was because there was no pressure in that moment. There was nothing going on. There was no comments coming in that he was looking at. There was no calls from the bloody palace talking about shit. It was just them two in their relationship, and they were so in love and so happy. And so that's where we have proof enough that they so work as people. It's just their positions that is causing the problem. And more importantly, the fact that he is the crown prince. So I don't know. I don't know if they can have a healthy relationship while he's crown prince. I think that with all we've had so far, if things stay the way they are, no, they can't. unless the palace themselves put fucking resources and effort into helping Simon and his mother, which they might now that there's been a police incident, who knows, but they probably won't, then I don't see them ever having a healthy relationship, honestly. Like, I don't see how they can. Now, next up, a two-part question. How do you think Willa will react to Simon's house being threatened? I think that he will be fucking terrified, scared. He will want to get Simon out of it. He'll probably talk to the palace, trying to find a way to, like, find them a place to live. But I don't think the palace will be able to accommodate that. I don't think that they will actually do anything about it. No, I was going to say they might offer them money, but they're not going to live on like a crown estate or anything, but I don't think that either. I don't think they're going to do anything to help them, to be honest, but I think Willa is going to be like trying his hardest. Now, in terms of the second part of the question, how will Simon moving somewhere else affect their relationship? It'll affect them deeply, obviously. I mean, if he moves so far away that he can't even be at the school, then they will have no time. They will not be able to see each other, which, if that's the case, then that would fucking suck. And with everything that's going on already, with how like their relationship is deteriorating because of his position and everything, it might be the end of them, honestly. Like, I don't know how they can get through that. Just bloody ridiculous, isn't it? And our next and final question, do you think that what the Queen has been doing from the very beginning can be justified, especially now with her being very ill? And do you think she's doing it because she's actually grieving or doing it to spite Willa? Oh, to spite Willa. I don't think it's to spite Willa. I think that with all the ways that she has failed as a mother, I don't think she is like antagonistic towards Willa. I don't think she means Willa ill well. She just like ill will, isn't it? I don't think she means that, but I think that she's just failed to give him any level of support as a mother, and that is where she has truly failed. And in terms of, does it justify her actions? No, it doesn't justify her actions in terms of her failings as a mother towards her child. It does make it more understandable as to the pressures that she's been under and why she has reacted in certain ways because of the pressures, because we've obviously seen that it has been bottling up. It has been getting to a point where she is now like very ill because she hasn't been dealing with anything. She's just been letting it slowly build within her. So like, it helps us to understand where she's been coming from and why she may have reacted in certain ways. But that does not mean that it justifies a single thing that she did, and I still am going to sit here and say that she has been a poor mother to him. That's just a fact within my own brain, you know? That's just how I see their relationship. But yes, with that said though, that was episode 3 of Young Royals. Absolutely fantastic. Loving the season so far. Like I said, we've explored things that I didn't realize I really wanted to explore, but now that we have, I'm like, holy shit, thank you. Thank you for exploring that, because it was fundamentally needed, in my opinion. But yes, with that said though, thank you very much for watching. I've left a link down below to my Patreon, where you're able to find the early uncut reactions to Young Royals and all the other shows that I do. Also left a link to my Twitch, my Discord, and my socials, so be sure to follow them if you are interested. And yes, thank you very much for watching, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.